President TINUBU renames 15 airports after Buhari Awolowo orders. This is breaking news. The president, but Ahmed Bola Tinubu, has approved of the remaining of 15 of the country's airports after some prominent Nigerians. The naming of the airports was, of course, announced in a memo by the Federal Ministry of Aviation dated June 1, 2023, and endorsed by Mrs. Joke Olatunji for the Director of Airports Operations on Monday. This breaking news, of course, is hitting the air and the media this morning. And the statement, of course, noted that the president names this airport as a part of reforms of aviation sector. Really, the Medagri Airport was renamed after the immediate past president Muhammadu Buhari and the Port Harcourt Airport after the late nationalist Obafemi Awolowo, while the Nasarawa Airport immortalized the late founder of the Sokoto Caliphate, Usman Dan Fodio. Wow, this is quite interesting indeed. Could the naming of these airports uh, be a part of reforms or drive the desired reforms or revolution that is so much needed for economic revival and making it a center of tourism for the multinationals? This is a very important question to ask at this time. Changing the nomenclatures of the names, does that amount to any political will to drive the change? The Nigerian airports, most of which are lying in the most deplorable state. In fact, in among the community of nations, Nigerian airports are one of the airports that are so, of course, backwards in terms of standards, meeting the global standards, and yet nothing seems to have been done, despite billions of naira that have been expended uh, in this aviation sector or ministry, so to say. But coming up at this time by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria started by renaming these airports. Could it mean that the names of the name it was bearing before was the cog in the wheel of progress, or the state of moribund of this aviation industry was a function of mismanagement, misappropriations of funds, and negligence on the parts of those who regulate this and monitors this particular sector, a very vital sector of the economy. And to this end, you can understand that there been several uh, misconceptions about the aviation ministry, especially more recent time when the Nigerian Air or whatever was launched or commissioned. And yet there are controversies surrounding such uh, movement and could not be well explained to gain the approval or the nod of the Nigerian people, where over 190 billion was expended for something that could not be substantiated for and that does not add any economic value or, of course, revenue to the Nigerian state. Well, let's watch the moves of the president since he has indicated interest in this sector, and let's hope that it will not just end in mere rhetorics as the others do. We anticipating Nigerians anticipating more than what is happening now, more than the renaming of the nomenclatures of whatever. We expect that the viability and, of course, of those facilities should be properly harnessed and utilized for the good of all. Just like the southeastern region, uh, hardly, of course, could have any functional aviation or airport uh, that could meet international standard. That of Enugu was once approved to be a, an international airways or carrier, but it has not been functional. So the president should also look into the hindrance or whatever is not allowing the functionalities of these approved international airports and see how to get all these hurdles out of the way. And there must be some level of sincerity and commitment to this cause, otherwise, it will amount to uh, economic sabotage by the same dispensation who should have taken advantage of these opportunities. Yes, there are great opportunities that could be tapped via the aviation industry, but it seems to have been underutilized or underharnessed. While Nigeria having the population of close to 200 million as claimed, could not be grumbling with such thick darkness, where their vision is almost moribund, indebted to several billions of naira, and could not, of course, be turned into economic prosperity, rather becomes a liability. I hope the government of the day will uh, make proactive and decisive steps in reading this institution or ministry or sector of the cankerworms that have eaten the fabrics of the existence of the Nigerian aviation, and fortunately introduce some reforms that will be standing the test of time, not just ending in the naming of those facilities in different parts of the country. But what Nigeria expects from him is to see that in terms of comparison, that the Nigerian airways airports can also be compared to that of Cameroon. I mean, that of Cotonou, a very near uh, neighbors with us, and of course that of Ghana and other African countries that are well advanced in terms of aviation, even Ethiopia. Yes, we have all the resources I mean, the Nigerian state has all the resources, of course, to get out of this wood. But what matters is the determination, the political will, and the sincerity of purpose to those who uh, will want to pioneer or engineer this particular revolution. Well, let's watch and see how that unfolds. Of course, it is an interest to everyone who cares, and we will know what next step after renaming. And most of the environment or site of these airports are not something to go by, and there should be some level of face uplift, and the activities of miscreants and those extorting the passengers or customers within the airport should be drastically taken care of. so that Nigerian airports will not look like an ordinary park, shoddy, where everything goes, and even the regulators are not helping issues create such a atmosphere of distrust and level of unacceptability. So there should be international standards of operation in these respective airports, so that the public image of the Nigerian international airports or aviation uh, we have a facelift. And to this end, we'll want to crave your judges, whatever may be your reaction to this. Let's know via the comment section. Do you think that could lead to something better rather than just the mere distractions, not paying attention to the vital issues bordering on the Nigerian state and the state of the nation at this moment?